Good afternoon. This is afternoon. This is actually early afternoon. Well, no, that's a lie. It's not early afternoon. It's about 4 o'clock. But because we're coming into winter, it looks, I don't know. It gets to this point of the day, and I just feel like cuddling up on a couch with a large llama and stroking it whilst watching festive films underneath a duvet. That would be a great thing to do right now, but alas, we're here. And today, well, this video, this is a bit of a so I like the NBA. I like basketball. Yeah, well, I like a lot of sports really, but I like basketball. One of my team in the NBA is the Brooklyn Nets. So today I wanted to talk about what I would do if I was the GM for the Brooklyn Nets right now, right at this specific time, as we come into where the transfer period really starts to heat up a little bit. So for any Brooklyn Nets lovers or any NBA followers out there, I'd love to hear from you. Get your thoughts on what I'm suggesting, what I'm throwing down. So here's the deal. I think, look, for the Brooklyn Nets, there's no denying the fact that we went into this season with, I think, what was it, 5 rookies, which was predominantly unheard of. There's no denying that we were looking to finish, or we are looking to finish somewhere down the ladder. And for anyone who's a football lover, that will not really make sense, because you'll be thinking you always want your team to be successful. But no, in basketball it's a bit different. If you finish down towards the bottom of the ladder, you get rewarded with the potential to have a higher draft pick. And the draft is essentially where you all the teams go in relative order based on where they finished the season before, and they get to choose the cream of the crop for the kids coming out of high school basketball. I won't go into too much details, but essentially if you are a squad that is rebuilding, or if you're a franchise that's rebuilding, it is more favourable to get a top draft pick as opposed to just finish somewhere middle of the road, which I am at the moment, in the middle of the road. But anyway, long story short, what would I do as the GM right now? I think there has been some players that we picked up, Brooklyn Nets, that have done exceedingly well. I think MPJ, I think last time I looked, he was averaging about 24 points a game, which, even if you look at his stats in history, he's been averaging about anywhere between 17 to 19 points a game. So I think there's no denying that he is looking very good, and he is looking like someone who we could potentially get some decent stuff back in return. Now, do I think that he is going to be someone that I would put on the block as a mid-season trade? No, I don't think that. I struggle to think that there's anyone out there that's going to take his contract. And if I'm brutally honest with you, I think whilst he's been doing great with us, I think it's kind of like, if you're a good player and you're surrounded by great players, then you're only ever going to look like a good player. If you're a good player and you are surrounded by average players, then you as a good player are suddenly going to look like a great player. And I think that's where MPJ is at the moment. I think him being our main scoring option, him being our main man, really suits him to pad out the stats. And I think other sides will be wary of that. And he would need to sort of do that, year in, year out for another club or for another franchise to really think, this is a franchise player that we want to build around. And he's 28 years old. So look, I think we've got more chance of. I think it's great that he's playing well, but I think there's more chance of us getting more stuff for him in return if we trade him at the end of the season. Who would I put on the chopping block? Look, I think Noah Clowney has played really well recently and had a couple of breakout games. Is he? He's relatively young. I think from memory, and don't quote me, but I think he's 21, 22, somewhere around that sort of range. He's had a couple of seasons at the Nets. He might be 23 actually. Some people might say, "Oh, but he's young. He's youth, and he's actually doing well now." Yeah, but I sort of look at it as, do I think that over the next 3 to 4 to 5 years, is Noah Clowney going to be someone I'm going to build around? The answer is probably no. So if the answer is no, why would I'd be silly not to try to sell high on him. At the moment his stock is high because he's doing well and he's having a bit of a breakout. So he's on a good contract. He's putting in some good stats. Look, Clowney would be someone that I would be floating out there. Day'Ron Sharpe would be someone that I'd be floating out there. There's rumours about the always injured Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is a bit of a sticking point for me. I really like Cam, and I would love there to be a world where Cam led us to a championship. But I think the reality of that is that it's probably never going to happen. I think that Cam is a little bit too one-dimensional. I think he's a great scorer. He can score from loads of places on the court that a lot of people can't score from. He can score shots that are unbelievable. He's clutch. He is slippery. Look, from the scoring perspective, he is great. There has been some slight improvements in some of the other areas, but my major sticking point is he's just not been able to string a sizable sort of season together in regards to playing time. Last year was his opportunity. Last year was his chance to go out and play 60 odd games, 65 games, and show the world what he can do. And he played like 28 or something, or 30 if that. So look, for me, when do we get off Cam's contract? Look, I would like him to potentially come back from injury, put in a couple of good games, and then if it was me, I'd float him out there. I think he's on a relatively good contract. It's expiring. If there's a side out there that potentially wants to challenge for the playoffs and potentially have someone that they can bring off the bench, and score some quick buckets, then I think he's a great option in that sense. So, I think. To be fair, it's really our only opportunity to trade him if we trade him mid-season. So that would be where I'd go with that. That's what I'd do. I'd give a little bit more minutes to the rookies. I think it's great to have Trey Mann. I think it's great to have Zaya Williams and some of the other lads there. But listen, we've got 5 rookies, and if I'm brutally honest with you, I don't really care how well they play at the moment. I just care that they play, and I would much rather them have minutes. And I don't care about the results. I don't care about winning. If it was up to me, I'd lose the next however many games, 60 odd games we've got. But yeah, I would give more games to the rookies. I would start trimming some of the fat, whilst the fat is at a good sort of stock price. And I think Noah Clowney's done really well to get his stock price high. I think Day'Ron Sharpe is always a good cheap rebounding option, defensive option for sides that are looking to challenge. And I think Cam Thomas, has proven himself to be a point scorer. Has proven that he's probably not going to be a starter because of injuries. He just can't handle it. And so if you can bring him in on his relatively cheap contract and have him come on as the 6th man, I think that's his best position, and that's his best role. That would mean that he would probably play more minutes over the course of the year. Even though, you know, from his perspective, I know he would love to be on the court day in, day out and be in the starting five and be the person that is responsible for leading a team to success. But look, at the end of the day, you've got to look at the reality of it, mate. And over your entire time in the NBA, you've not shown your ability to do that week in, week out, month after month. So at the end of the day, get what you can out of the game whilst you can. And I think his best position is or his best role is as a six man. So that's what I do as a GM of Brooklyn Nets, the Brooklyn Nets. Look, if you support any other NBA sides, put it down in the comments. If you think my what I would do is rubbish, tell me why. If you think they're good, you know, give me a pat on the back. And if you've got any other theories, or if there's anything else that you want to speak to in regards to the NBA, I'm always all ears. Obviously, I'd like to do that on a live format, but I don't have 50 subscribers, guys. I don't have 50 friends. So I need 50 friends in order to do live streaming, and then we can chat about everything. So please make sure you subscribe and make sure you like the video. Thank you very much. Obviously, I've just been parked here like a cool person for the last couple of minutes, but I thank you for coming along for the drive. And this is Roger Roadside saying ciao for now.